So I will tell you before I share my remarks with you tonight that I'm going to diverge a little bit from the approach that I usually take with my sermons from the Beam on Shabbat. Most weeks when I'm with you on the pulpit, I make an effort to offer a perspective specifically about the weekly Torah portion for that Shabbat and share my thoughts with you about how the Parsha relates to the world and to our lives today. But tonight I want to take a slightly different turn away from my standard approach. I hope you'll indulge me. I decided not to talk about the Torah portion tonight because this week a significant change took place in my household, and I want to share it with you and offer a few thoughts with you about how it has impacted me as a rabbi and as a father. So 2 days ago was my daughter's 16th birthday. And she came home that afternoon holding her first driver's license. She is over the moon, absolutely incandescent with excitement. And of course, the rest of us are thrilled for her as well. But as soon as she walked out the door, for the first time, shortly after receiving that driver's license, for the very first time, all by herself, holding the keys to that car, I have found myself feeling some other feelings in addition to the joy and celebration. And I experienced for the first time something that I'd heard from other parents throughout the years as they said goodbye to their children for the first time, walking out the door, holding the car keys for the first time in their lives. And I'm aware now that when your kid learns to drive and becomes able to take responsibility for their own comings and goings, it represents a significant handover of control. This is the time when we parents say goodbye to one of the most significant ways we exercise control, supervision over our kids, one of the ways that we have been responsible for keeping them safe and ensuring that they're going where they are supposed to go and staying away from the places they're supposed to stay away from. Of course, in a larger sense, the entire experience of parenthood is, in general, that over time, the amount of influence we exercise over our children steadily shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Each developmental step forward for a child corresponds with a small experience of loss for a parent. As the years pass, we surrender one area of control after another over the way our children eat, the words they say, over the places they go, the people they spend time with. And if we dwell on this successive series of losses for too long, it can feel sad. It can feel depressing until we realize that, of course, this is exactly what we want. How could we want it any other way? If all we do is tighten our grip over the lives of our children, over anyone we have love and responsibility for, we are constricting their ability to make their way toward horizons greater than the ones we could offer them ourselves. Although every one of them is temporarily painful, our losses correspond with our children's liberation. And because in every kind of liberation, in families or businesses or political systems, the one who finds freedom will face mystery and uncertainty, and that experience of liberation contains within it anticipation and joy, but also vulnerability and fear. And while I know I said a few minutes ago that I wasn't going to talk Torah tonight, during the last couple of days when reflecting about what it has felt like to send my child out into the world behind the wheel of a car, I'll tell you about an image that has come back to me again and again, and it's one that comes from the atmosphere constructed by the Torah and the latter sections of the book of Deuteronomy. Because in these chapters, the children of Israel are preparing to cross the Jordan River and make their way into the Promised Land, and Moses knows he can't come. They know that he can't go with them, and he knows it too. And he's continually showering them with warnings and instructions and encouragement again and again and again, trying to make sure they'll hear him even as they're walking away from him, moving steadily, one step after another toward the riverbank, preparing to leave him behind on the hill where he has to stay. You can almost imagine him shouting after them as they walk away. The excerpts from Moses' words in Deuteronomy sound just like the instructions of a parent preparing to send his children off for the first time. Pnu us'u lechem, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to make your way. Lo ta'artzu velo tir'un, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Shema el chukim ve'al mishpatim, remember the laws and the rules that I've taught you, don't forget them. Hishamer lecha ushmor nafshecha, be careful. Pay attention. Protect your life and your well-being. L'man yarichun yamecha, I want you to live a long and healthy life because I love you. This week, I think that I understand Moses more deeply and more sympathetically than I ever did before. He's torn, painfully so, because of course he wants them to go. Of course he wants them to enter the promised land and make their way over that river. His entire life, his whole relationship with God and with his people has been leading up to this moment since he was a child. Of course he wants them to go. He wants them to be free. He wants them to build grown-up, self-sufficient, healthy lives of prosperity and promise. But he's so scared. He's so scared. He's so worried about them. He spent a lifetime looking after them, taking care of them, keeping them safe. How can he let them go? But he does, because he knows, just like we do, that love and faith are partners, and that our desire for those we love to find freedom and fulfillment intersects with our fear about letting them go. Of course, the ambivalence with which we say goodbye to a new driver is about more than the car and the license and the keys. I want to share a beautiful little resonance from the Hebrew language with you. In Hebrew, the word for a person who drives is a nahag, or a naheget. A driver is a nahag. When you make that root into a reflexive noun, it becomes hitnahagut. What is hitnahagut in modern Hebrew? Behavior, conduct, the things that we do, the ways that we act. So when we love someone enough to let them drive away from us as a nahag, we have deep and faithful hopes that they will behave, that their hitnahagut will be the kind of conduct that we have primed them to live. And there's one more beautiful resonance from the Hebrew language, a different declension of the same root. Nahag, remember, driver nahag? A different way of formatting that root is into the word manhig. What's a manhig? A leader. Someone who exercises manhigut, good leadership. When we give someone the ability to drive away from us, we do so with the hopes that they will become manhigim, leaders, in their groups of friends, in their schools, in their youth groups. We want them to have their hands on the wheel, literally and figuratively, to steer towards positive directions, to develop and exercise their own initiative, to chart a course forward, to navigate safely and surely toward the places where they will be who they dream of becoming. We want those we love to exercise excellent hitnagut, behavior, to influence the world as sterling manhigim, leaders. Those are the things that we want. When we love someone enough to let them drive away despite the fear and the anxiety and the insurance premiums, that's what we want. It's what we want. And the awareness of that has deepened my love, and it's sharpened my fear, and it has widened the list of things I pray for. I realized this Shabbat that when I arrived here this evening, I found in my possession a whole new inventory of prayer. For for my daughter who is taking these first new steps into freedom and independence, and also for all of us who are making our way as best we can across rivers we never imagined toward promised lands we could only have dreamed of. And I found new ways to pray for myself too, for all of us who stay behind while those we love make their way down new roads to discover new places, meet new faces who will welcome them with the joy and delight they deserve, while we stay on the near bank of the river, doing our best to pretend that nothing has changed, but knowing deep inside that everything is different. So on this Shabbat, again, with your favor and indulgence, I want to conclude my remarks tonight with a few words of prayer. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, may it be your will, O God, God of our mothers and fathers, of every worried parent who came before, that you will guide those who travel on their journeys. Watch over them with love. Lead them forward in protection and peace. Bless their going forth. Direct them toward fruitful new territories of spirit where they will discover hidden joys they never knew. Let their eyes and their ears be open and stay perceptive. Let them move in wakefulness and curiosity. Keep them safe and bless them so that they will arrive healthy and whole. And when our love and our arms can no longer protect them, O God, let them find shelter in yours, that they may go in peace and return in peace. May they find your favor, and may this be your will, O God. Amen.